Pep Talk UK, Pro Beez out here in a box set in Wembley. I'm delighted to be joined for the first time. Yes! It's been a long time coming. Julius, France's former British heavyweight champion. How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
I say, what is going on?
Well, it's all good. I'm staying happy and healthy, hopefully.
Yeah, ticking over nicely.
Trying. I'm putting on a few pounds, but that's life. You know.
We all are, you know. Yeah. Sometimes when you're busy, you just got to eat that lobster, have that Snickers afterwards.
I don't know about lobster, but you know, steak and chips.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I wanted to get your perspective on the whole Anthony Joshua versus Lennox Lewis spat that's circulated, and it's been going on for quite a while now. Anthony Joshua just came out of it last week and said, look, Lewis is a clown. You know, and
yeah.
What do you make of the whole spat?
Well, you know, my take on it is that I know that there was a bit of talk that, especially since Joshua lost against Ruiz, that obviously Lennox had stepped in and said certain things. But at the same time, I say this. Lennox is the former last undisputed heavyweight world champion. So he has a right to talk about the game that he's been at the top of. Anthony Joshua just come into the game, regardless of however we feel about Anthony Joshua as a fighter or as a person. He's only just came into the game as far as being a fighter and even being a champion is concerned, because he hasn't fought in the same kind of era and the same kind of competition that Lennox has. Lennox fought with the very highest caliber of fighters, so Lennox has a right to talk. And if if I was a young fighter, and even a fighter that performed at a level that Anthony Joshua has, and someone like Lennox Lewis was saying to me, you know, you're doing things wrong, I would listen. You know, take those things in and don't take it as a don't never take it as a disrespect. You know, I think there were a lot of people and out there after he lost that said, ha, I'm glad he's lost. Me, on my take of it was, you know what, I saw this coming, because as Lennox said, people around Anthony Joshua, they've taken you so far. And especially going to Rob McCracken. Rob McCracken has been that guy that's taken Anthony Joshua, say, from the amateurs to being a professional and then on to becoming a world champion. But if you do, I say this, if you do the same thing, it's going to get the same results. Yeah? And if you're boxing the same style from amateur till now, people are going to find you out. It's going to be, you know, it becomes very predictable. Yeah, and then again, Anthony talking about Lennox is a clown and he doesn't respect Lennox. You know what? You've got to respect Lennox because of what he's achieved in the game and what he's brought to the game and how he is perceived around the world in the boxing world. You know. So yeah, so it's kind of. I just say it was disrespectful. It was disrespectful, and I think also that's the pressure of being heaped on Anthony. And if he can't take the pressure, then don't stay in the game. That's kind of like a bit of my take on it. It is difficult. It is difficult when you're at the top. When you're at the top and something happens and you fall, then people are going to take shots. You've got to be prepared and you've got to be strong enough to take those shots and say, all right, then, you know what, I'll take certain things on board, I'll leave certain things alone, I'll ignore other things and get on and then prove people wrong and prove people that, yes, I can come back and I can do what I said I was going to do, you know. And it's I don't know, it's kind of, like I say, for me it was disrespectful.
You think it's a generational problem between the OGs, as it were, and the youngins coming up?
Look, if you look at Lennox will always say that he was the lion, he was the king lion. The king lion goes, you know, he has his battle scars, and he whips all the other young lions into shape. Yeah, and he has the battle scars to let them know that I am king. You know, and then when the king lion goes off to rest, you know, he lets the other young lions go and take over and play and do whatever. But don't forget, the king lion has always got something still in his locker. You know, and that's always going to be the case. You know, in this game of boxing, we, as fighters, we have to learn to take the ups and the downs of the game. You know, there are going to be people that will run you down and don't wish the best for you. But as far as I'm concerned, like I said earlier, if someone like Lennox was saying to me that this is going wrong in your career and you need to change this, and he's seeing something and he's giving you that advice for free. That's free advice. Take it and run with it.
You feel like Anthony Joshua's been a little bit too sensitive with constructive criticism?
Yeah, of course, I do think that. You know, I think he's been comfortable. He's been comfortable in that surroundings of his team. Whether he says he's going to change his team, or whether he even wants to continue with the team that he has and wants to continue boxing, you know, if he wants to have, as he says, the legacy of boxing, and you can't have a legacy unless you really do want to change and make moves and make things happen for you. You know, a legacy is about going through something and maybe having a defeat, and as Lennox did. Lennox had 2 defeats, came back and
avenged them both, yeah,
and avenged both of those defeats, and then went on to become undisputed champion. Some people say that when he fought in his last fight against Klitschko, it was a close fight. But at the end of the day, Lennox came out victorious on top, and Lennox was the one that went away and retired from the game undisputed heavyweight champion. You know, you can't take that away from him. Can't take that away from him. And like I say, if you have someone like Lennox giving you advice and free advice, take it and run with it.
Oh wow! Well, the rematch has been announced last week. Just to conclude,
well,
how you see that?
You know. For one, I don't think it's going to happen, not in Saudi Arabia anyway. Andy Ruiz has stated that he doesn't want to fight in Saudi Arabia, he doesn't want to fight over here, he wants to fight in America, or maybe even Mexico. Anthony Joshua, so I've been told and so I've seen on kind of other social media, is that he's lost weight. Anthony Joshua has lost weight and trimmed down and slimmed down. Me, I've always looked at Anthony Joshua as being a great athlete. Mm-hmm. Trains very well and trains very hard. You know, so that side we can't take away from him. But there are so many faults that he has in his boxing, and I think if you don't have a team around you and a trainer around you that can be objective and look and say, you know what, this is not right, and I need to change this and I need to improve this, then you're going to get the same result is going to happen. Anthony Joshua just might end up losing again, and maybe in a more, dare I say, a more devastating fashion. You know, because he went down 2 or 3 times in this fight, and regardless of you know, there's been all these theories about he wasn't right for the fight, and he came in and the ring walk was wrong, and he getting a massage and everything. I'd say this: if there was something wrong with Anthony Joshua going into the fight and people knew about it, he should not have fought. That's, you know, going into this fight, he can't complain and say, oh, I had concussion, or I had this, or something wasn't right. You know, even I've heard things saying that 2 weeks into camp, that because they had to change of opponent 2 weeks into camp, that it messed things up. You know what? At that level, you should just be getting ready to fight whoever is going to be put in front of you. You know, right? And he was going to fight Miller. Miller, I don't think he's
stylistically he's a lot different though.
Was any, especially Ruiz. Body shape and body type, was anything different than Andy Ruiz Jr. So, but again, going back to the question, I'm not sure that Anthony Joshua can mentally come into this fight and have everything on his terms. If everything is on his terms and everything goes the way that he wants it to, then he will win. But if there are, you know, complications in where the fight's going to be, and Andy Ruiz gets his way, then I think Andy Ruiz wins again.
Julius, it's been a big pleasure catching up with yourself.
No problem.
I'd like to thank you for your time.
No
Subscribe.
worries.
Pep Talk UK. Julius Francis, my
It's
guy.
me.